John has given us a call from Essex and really wants to talk. So let's get straight to you, John. Evening to you.
Hi, Cristo.
What's happening with you, John?
Well, just to say that I'm just a normal guy. Luckily, I'm still employed, but I've been on the cusp of unemployment. I was a team leader, but I've had to make people redundant, friends of mine, and this constant. I've got parents that are elderly, and I take them out. I'll take my mum out shopping every week, but basically I've been in 10 months of solitary confinement, really, and I really can't take it anymore.
All right, John, it's all right. You're talking to a friend now, so take a deep breath. Come on, do the same as I'm doing, through your nose. Come on, nice deep breath.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Okay.
Do it right now. Go on, nice deep breath.
Yeah. Now, 9 to 5, I've got a job and I do Zoom calls and everything.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a soul for 10 months.
So you've been living on your own in lockdown and you're feeling pretty isolated, right?
Well, I bought this house and I've done it up and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm on the cusp. We have a town hall every month with work, and I've done this, and I don't know. I've had to make other people redundant.
Yeah.
And I'm just on the knife edge of whether they're going to cut this down. But this place that I love, that I've built, is now a prison to me.
What is it they call it? A gilded cage.
Yeah, it's like I've only just got back. I've been out walking for about 3 hours just to try and sort my head out. And I just can't take it anymore.
Well, John, firstly, you've done the right thing by picking up the phone, all right? You've done absolutely the right thing, firstly. And secondly, without a doubt, the way you feel, it's okay to feel the way you feel, because I don't know anyone that would have felt isolated over the last 10 months, that would have had to have had the responsibility of making people redundant, people you've worked with for a while, that you know and love. I think that would try even the strongest soul. And so far from, I don't know whether you feel weak or whether you feel guilty, but to me, immediately when I talk to you, I feel like I'm talking to someone incredibly strong.
I just feel alone.
You're not alone, John, because you're talking to me, and I'm here with you, and you're talking to the rest of the Talk Radio audience, and we're here with you. And John, I tell you why else you're not alone, is because there are so many other people across the UK like you who are going to be nodding away, listening to what you're going through, and completely understanding, because you are in the same position as they are. And so you've nothing to feel bad about, John. And you are not alone, my friend. You are not alone. Do you get that? Is that getting through to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go on.
It's just all this lockdown. It's like, give me the virus. I don't care. Give me the virus. I really don't care. I fear what's happening to the economy, because everything that's happening that is bad for me is happening because of decisions that are made that didn't need to take, that people didn't have to make.
Like what? What are the decisions that you listen to that are sending you under a little bit?
The lockdown, shutting businesses down. It's just finishing me off. Right now, I would gladly have the virus and try and get myself over it. But it's what they're doing to the business. It's like the next town hall, they might say, oh, we're cutting half the workforce. If I'm gone, I'm homeless.
how close are you to not having the money to pay for your house, John?
I'm only one paycheck away. If they get rid of me, if they tell me, well, if they give me redundancy, I might have a couple of months. Yeah. But if my company goes under, I'll have nothing. And then I will be homeless.
And what do you think the chances are of your company going under that you work for?
It is on a knife edge, Chris. So it's really on a knife edge.
But without naming the company, what kind of business are you in?
It's a large, it's an advertising company. And even though I've been working all hours recently, there's parts of the company that work on different things where they might have stock in Debenhams or whatever, and we're holding that up.
And
they could announce the company could go under in the next town hall.
Okay, and I understand that, because advertising, you know, when the economy goes under, a lot of people or a lot of companies, it's advertising, it's the first thing that goes, isn't it? They think, well, we can cut that budget and save our staff. John, who do you talk to every day?
I don't talk to anyone, really.
Who do you have that you could talk to? Who is in your bubble? Do you have anyone that you can see, a bubble that you can join? Do you have family, my friend?
No, all I have are my parents, and they're worried to death already. The government has scared them to death already, and I daren't give them any more grief.
Of course. It's all right, John. You're talking to a friend now, and we're going to try and help, all right? We're going to try and talk this through. Yeah. You've done the right thing because you've called someone when you're feeling down, and we'll talk about it. And we're going to try, by the end of this phone call, we're going to try and hopefully plot some sort of way forward and give you some sort of plan so that you can start feeling a little bit better, all right? And so you've done the right thing. You've done the right thing. You have been, firstly, can I just take a moment to tell you, though, that you have been incredibly strong over the last 10 months. It might not feel like it, and you might feel like you're at the end of your tether, but there is an inner steel in there that perhaps you can't see, that I can see, because you're not weak to feel like this, John. You have been so strong to get to this point. So I think you just need a moment to acknowledge the strength that you have and to be a little bit kinder to yourself in realizing that you've done incredibly well to get this far. You've had a house that you've done up. You've been trying to pay for it. You've been trying to keep people employed. You've been trying to do your job. You've not had anyone to talk to. You've been trying to hold on to the burden of your parents. Those are not the actions of someone who is weak or at the end of their tether, John. Those are the actions of someone who is incredibly strong. All right?
Yeah.
You know, you are. You are, because you've got 10 months down the line before you're now having a wobble. And that's all this is. It's a wobble. And everyone has a wobble. Everyone has that moment where it just feels like the walls are closing in and there is no way out. And you know what, John, if you didn't feel like this now and then with what you've described, I would be wondering whether I was talking to C-3PO. Do you know what I mean? Because you are a human man. You are a strong man. You have just got to the point where everything around you, all of the external things that are happening, you know, none of this is your fault. You've not brought on any of this. There are no right or wrong answers in the way in which you're supposed to take this going forward. And all of this has happened to you. You've not brought any of this on. And I think that it's important that you remember that and that you know how strong you are, my friend, all right?
Okay.
Do you believe me?
Well, I'm finding it hard. I've been doing this for 10 months and it's such a weight because I've got to stay strong for the people that are still employed for me. And
It's tough, isn't it, trying to stay strong for other people and trying to feel like you're on that knife edge, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, I don't want this virus to hit my parents, but if they keep doing this, the company's gone. The company that employed me's gone. And then if that happens, I've got no prospects because every other company's gone.
Yeah. What do you need, John? What do you most need? If you had a genie in a bottle right now, what would be your wish?
Oh, I would just want the whole thing to be opened up. Protect the vulnerable, but open everything up. Open the schools, open everything. Everyone keeps social distancing, but we can't lock everything down. It's going to destroy everything.
I understand, and I understand that you are the face and the voice of what lockdowns are doing to people. And I, like you, I understand the logic of the lockdown when it comes to protecting the NHS, but 10 months on, it's really difficult, isn't it, to not wonder how we can't have had another plan.
NHS, if it isn't saving us, if it's going to bring the whole country down, what's the point of it?
Well, because unfortunately the logic is, and look, I'm not trying to get into an argument with you about it because I feel where you are. I'm just putting that side across, that the logic is that if the NHS gets overwhelmed, then more people are going to die from COVID, and also the things that aren't getting treated at the moment will be even worse long term, because the little treatment that we have for things like cancer and the like, we won't be able to get to. Where I completely agree with you, though, is that they've all had 10 months to think about this. I sort of understood this excuse and this reasoning 3 months in, 6 months in, but whilst things were better, I don't understand why these Nightingales, they couldn't have built 10 more. I don't understand why they couldn't have built...
They're gone now.
Well, not all of them have gone. Some of them are being used, from what I understand. It's difficult to know what's right and what's wrong, but I get it, because what's the point in the NHS being saved if people like you are going to lose everything? What's the point in the NHS being saved?
Absolutely.
If you're on...
No one's got anything left. Are the NHS going to pay my mortgage? Are they going to, when I'm homeless, are they going to put me up?
No. And so suddenly the logic of saving the NHS becomes, well, the logic of the NHS not really saving you. And
absolutely.
I understand your anger about that.
It's not going to save anyone if no one can pay for it.
And that's the other thing. And if the economy's getting ruined, John, I get it, because you must, and can I just say, John, by the way, before we go on,
yeah,
so many people in the YouTube room, Richard, Martin, so many people, Maggie, Eric, Benjamin, all of those people in YouTube at the moment, and many of the people as well watching along on Facebook, are all saying that they absolutely understand and hear where you're coming from, and how much you're also helping them by articulating what you're going through. And I just think it's important that you hear that you are not alone. What you have just said has rung a bell with so many other people, okay? And I just want you to know you're not alone, all right? Firstly. And secondly...
Well, you've talked me down a bit. I was feeling really, really bad when I first called, but no.
Well, it's all right. Well, we haven't finished.
Really good.
We haven't finished yet, John.
Mm.
The other thing I really think that you must be feeling, and I absolutely get it, is you must go round in circles. They're saving the NHS, but my business is going under. But if I do this, it might be okay. And round and round and round and round and round. And it must be driving you insane, right?
I'm working pretty much. I do a Monday to Friday. Now, a lot of other people do a lot more than that. But I am absolute. What I do is very high pressured, and I'm working probably 15 hours a week over what I should do. because they've got rid of so many people, and a lot of people that they've got rid of, they've shipped the jobs off to outsourcing. So I've not only got to do my job, I've got to teach people in India, China, how to just work. So I'm not just doing that. It doesn't help today that India have got a bank holiday, but so I've had to do all of their jobs as well. But
you're under an incredible amount of pressure, John.
People that are on furlough, you've got to realise, if you're on furlough and your companies find another way, they're going to find another way, and they're going to offshore your jobs, and you won't have your job anymore.
What would you say if Boris Johnson or the government were listening? What would you say to them?
No, the actual individual companies.
No, I know that, but what would you say to those people in charge now? If they could hear you, if they could hear what you need, what would you say to them? You're broadcasting on a national radio station now, John. Your voice is being heard, and your voice is important. So use it.
The furlough is masking what's really happening. We're paying unemployment from our own money. When the furlough scheme happens, it's going to be catastrophic. And if you're on furlough, you need to realise that your job isn't going to be there. All furlough is unemployment benefit from your own pocket.
I understand that. We're going to have to pay it at some point, or our children will, right?
Yeah.
Have you got any children, John?
My company, the first furlough from March, April, May, we cut everyone. It was a slaughter, and the people on furlough, only out of 200 people, I only know one person who kept their jobs. The rest of them, they weren't made. We didn't have this big, they're made redundant. They have left the company. They've gone somewhere else because we're all at home. No one's in an office to go, what the hell's going on?
And John, who do you have around you? I know you said you have your parents. Do you have any children? Do you have any friends? Do you have any family?
No, I moved out here. A lot of my friends are married with their own children. No, I have my parents. I have my brother. My brother's got the same issues, but he's looking after his two children.
But you know, that still means that you can talk to them, John. You're not a burden by speaking to them. You're not a burden by telling people that you're worried. Do you not think how do you know your brother is going through the same as you?
Yeah, well, I know he is, but
how do you know? How do you know?
Well, I know what his company's going through.
But has he spoken to you about it?
Yeah, we've spoken, and I leave him alone because he works with people that are on mobile contracts and that are freelance, and a lot of them are coming into him and saying that they're sick and all that, and he's got to pick that up, and he's working harder than me, but he's got his wife and family. John,
you're his brother. John, you're more important than anyone on a mobile contract because you're his family.
Yeah, I know.
And you've got to talk to him, John, and you've got to tell him, okay, you don't need to ring him and give him the weight of the world on his shoulders, but you know what? You know the way that loads of people are messaging me tonight saying how much it's helping them to hear what you're saying on the radio. You might actually be helping him by just saying to him, you know what, God, I'm having a bit of a tough time at the moment. How are you? Are you feeling the same way? And I bet you that would help him as well as it helping you to get it off your chest a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not burdening him by just telling him what's going on with you. You're not burdening him. You're not going to make things horribly worse for him. What you might do is let him realise that there's someone in the same boat as you, the same as your friends. You know, I used to do the same thing, John. You know, being for many years a single gay fella, I had a lot of my friends were then settling down, having children and being in couples, and I wasn't speaking to them when I was at my worst, when I was at the height of my eating disorder and at the height of my depression, and I wasn't talking to my friends because I thought, well, they've got children, they've got their own worries, they've got and they're furious. They were furious with me when they found out how bad things had got, because, what do you think is important to them? Do you think worrying about whether the homeschooling of their children's going well or whether the supermarket delivery has arrived in any way stacks up to them wanting to know what's going on in your head if it's going quite badly for you? And so don't dismiss the idea of talking to friends of yours because you don't feel worthy enough that your problems are worthy of their time. Because what would your friends say if they were listening now and thought you hadn't called them? What would they be saying, do you think?
I don't know. But
John, you do know. You do know what they'd be saying. They'd be saying, what would they be saying, John? Come on.
Yeah. But,
go on, say it then. Say what would they be saying?
A lot of my friends I've made redundant, and I've cut ties because in my industry, you work all hours, so your friends are the people you've worked with, and I've had to make a lot of them redundant, and it's been awful.
And you feel the burden of the world on your shoulders because you feel like it's your fault that you've had to make them redundant, right?
Yeah.
It's not your fault, John. It's not your fault. You don't have anything to feel guilty about here. You've got nothing to feel guilty about. None of this is your fault. These are all external factors that you are spinning plates trying to deal with. And it's not fair that you're having to do that. And it's not fair you're having to do that alone.
Yeah, it's like tonight, it's like I was spinning so many plates. I just had to walk out the door and just go somewhere just to get some air. Yeah. But I was just crying to myself, and I thought, I can't just fucking cry to myself. Sorry for swearing.
It's all right. We got it.
I can't cry to myself. I need to speak to someone to say, this has got to stop. It has got to stop.
Well, you're speaking to me, and you've done the right thing, because I'm your friend, John, and I'm your ear, and I'm here to help you. Don't swear again, please, by the way, and I'm sorry to anyone listening watching on the online stream. Well, it's all right, John, we're all feeling like swearing at the moment, but I would imagine that we've all sworn more over the last few. Yeah. I don't know how I get away with not swearing every night, my friend. So look, there is some strength in you because you've known to do the right thing. There is some strength in you for everything that you've been holding together for the last 10 months. But John, you've got to start talking to people. You've got to start letting people in. You've got to talk to your brother. And I've got to say as well, how old are your parents?
They're nearly in their 80s.
And are they active and, and mobile and all those sorts of things?
My dad takes the dog out, but I'm the only one who takes the mum out. So if they lock down harder and they say, I can't take her to the supermarket, then she won't go out at all. She'll
so they're your bubble, right? They're your bubble.
Yeah.
Okay, and have you sat and had a cup of tea with your dad and told him what's going on with you?
No, I've sat down and had a cup of tea.
Why?
They're all worried about what's going on.
Well, of course they're worried about what's going on, and so are you. And again, John, if your parents sound like really nice people, how would they feel, do you think, if they thought that you were coping like this on your own? And okay, I get it, John. You would probably feel guilty afterwards if you sat and gave them the weight of the world on their shoulders. But to sit and have a cup of tea with your dad and say, Dad, I'm finding it a bit tough at the moment. Have you got any advice? Your dad's been on this earth for nearly 80 years. He's got to have seen and done it all. He would want to give you advice, John. You can't cope with what you've coped with for the last 10 months and then isolate yourself from everyone as well. Because if this was a friend of yours, what would you be saying to them? If your friend rang you and said, John, I'm at the end of my tether and I've not been speaking to anyone and I've not been telling my parents and my brother's got so much to cope with and I've not been calling my friends, what would be the advice you'd give them?
Well, I'd tell them to hold the rules, just come over, you can stay with me.
Well,
and they'll be in my bubble.
if it was a crisis, and this is a crisis, and there are exceptions in these instances, maybe that's something that you should consider doing. Maybe you should consider spending more time with your parents. Maybe you should consider spending more time with your brother. John, you can't be alone. I'm not endorsing breaking the rules. I'm endorsing an intervention for your mental health if you are on the edge. And at the end of the day, John, you're on the edge. And I would challenge anyone to be coping in the way that you have been and not to feel like they're on the edge. You are not weak, my friend. You are strong. You are phenomenally strong. I'm incredibly proud of how brave you are, and I don't even know you.
Well, to tell you the truth, Cristo, if it gets to a point where normal life is unlawful, what's the point of the law? The law is meant to serve us, and I know you don't want to say, oh, you can't break the rules, blah, blah, blah. But if them rules are against every humane action that you have in your heart, what's the point of it?
I understand. What can I say to that? Have you spoken to your doctor? When was the last time you actually had a chat with your GP or a GP, John?
Oh, that would be good. I was laid up about at the start of the pandemic. My knee, I pulled a tendon in my knee, and I sent a picture, and they got back to me.
Okay.
And said, oh, here's some drugs, just take those.
Right, but when was the last time... Okay, at the moment, you forgive me, John, I'm not a doctor, but I'm sensing that your knee is not the problem at the moment. So when was the last time... Sorry, I'm being cheeky, but when was the last time you actually spoke to your doctor about how you're feeling at the moment, at the end of your tether?
Never.
Okay, well,
Never.
Again, I think that's something that you need to do immediately, urgently. Urgently.
I'll call him tomorrow.
You've got to call your surgery tomorrow, and I think you need to tell them that you are feeling the way you're feeling. And I don't care if you've got to explain this to a stroppy receptionist, because you know what, John, again, and look, I'm not a doctor, but there may be medical reasons you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And again, however strong your mind is, however much you're going online and working as hard as you can, you can't work out of, you can't type on your computer to get away with something that might be going on in your mind that is medical, that could be helping. The whole point I'm trying to get across to you, John, is that there is help there. There's this program, there's your doctor, there's your brother, whom I desperately want you to just explain that you're feeling a bit low. There's your dad. Go on a dog walk with your dad and have a chat with him about the fact that you're having a bit of a wobble. There are people there. John, you've described to me during this call, you started this phone call, my dear friend, telling me that you had no one to turn to. And over the course of this call, I think we've come up with 4 different options of people that you can talk to and of people that you can confide in. You're not alone, are you?
Let people down.
You're not going to let anyone down.
I don't let people down because they rely on me.
You're not letting anyone down, John. You're letting... John, I'm going to be cruel to be kind here, but you're letting people down now by not explaining how you're feeling. That's how you're letting people down. You know, the way you're feeling at the moment, and what you may be contemplating as a way, because of what you're feeling at the moment, that would let people down, John. Talking to them doesn't let them down. Do you think I feel like you've let me down by calling and telling me this?
No. I just had to talk to someone.
And how do you feel now you've spoken to someone?
Well, it was just talking to someone who I don't have any baggage or any back passes. No, you've really helped, Cristo. Thank you very much.
But you're not alone, John. Do you realise you're not alone?
Yeah.
Can you say I'm not alone?
I'm not alone.
And who do you have? Why don't you list to me who you have? So there's your brother. And I think, again, you don't need to call your brother and tell him that everything's the worst thing that it's ever been in your life. But have a chat with him. Just ring him and say to him, how are you doing? Maybe listening to how he's doing would make you feel a bit better. There's your brother. Are you going to go for a dog walk with your dad?
Yeah.
And what are you going to say to your
Yeah, I'll
dad when you
call
go on
them
that?
tomorrow.
And what are you going to say to your dad when you go on that dog walk with him?
Well, I'm going to tell him to kick me up the arse and just say that. That
If you say that
he
to him,
loves
I'm going to
me
kick you
and
up the
I
arse.
love him, and yeah, but you don't know my dad.
All right.
But he'll say, "Don't be silly." He'll hug me, but it's just.
It will pass. It will get better, John. I
I've just
promise you.
been stuck in this place, this prison for 10 months.
And the prison isn't the normal state of mind. You've probably got yourself to the state where you feel this is normal when it's not normal. How you're feeling now is not normal. This is not how it's going to continue. This is not how it's going to be forever. This is a blip. It's a wobble. I promise you, I promise with every fibre of my being and my heart that it will pass, John. I promise you, my friend, it will pass. And you're not going to feel like this forever. Things will change. Things will change. And the worst case scenario is you've got to talk to your parents, your brother, but most importantly, are you going to ring the doctor tomorrow and have a chat and tell the doctor? Now, the doctor, I want you to be 100% honest with. I want you to tell the doctor what you've told me. Do you promise me you'll do that tomorrow?
I promise. No, I promise you. As soon as I get up tomorrow, I'll phone the doctor and I'll get some help.
And be as honest as possible. And if you're feeling, again tonight, you're having a wobble, well, there's always the Samaritan as well, which is 116123. And they're always there to have a chat to and to help. You can always call this programme. You've got a friend here with me now that you can call any time, John, all right?
Thank you, Cristo.
And just finally, I'm just going to stress it again, just in case. You are incredibly strong, John. You've not let anyone down, and none of this is your fault. And you have to realise that. And maybe you needed to hear it, but is that sinking into you that you are being strong, my friend?
Yeah, I think walking back from where I was going tonight, I think I just needed someone to talk to and who didn't know me, who could just talk some sense into me.
Well, you've taken the first step.
That's all I needed.
Now the next step is to start slowly but surely talking to people who do know you, people who are around you, people who are in a better position to try and help you, people who are in your boat, John, people who are in the same situation as you that can give you some advice or just be lend you an ear and tell you that they understand what's happening. And that's what you need, John. Do you know that you need that? And will you take that advice? Please take that advice from me.
Yeah, I'll talk to my family tomorrow.
And your doctor.
I'll get in touch with my doctor immediately tomorrow.
All right. And then why don't you give me a call back? Or do you mind if we take your number and we maybe give you a call back, maybe tomorrow or the next night, and we just see how that went, see what it was like talking to your doctor? If you like, we can slag off your doctor if they weren't very nice to you. Just don't name who they are. But we can catch up again, and I'll stop in and I'll see how you're doing and see whether you feel any better, all right? Is that all right that we do that? Because I'm afraid now, sorry, John, but you've got a friend in me and my producer, Elif, and I'm afraid we're going to now call you and find out how you're doing. So I'm afraid you're stuck with us.
No, that's cool. That's all right.
Sorry, but we're just going to call Elif. Are you going to call him as well? Elif's going to call you. Oh my God, you don't get on the wrong side of her. I'll tell you. All right?
That's all right. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and just remember how strong you are, John. All right? You just remember how strong you are. There is a steel under there. I can feel it, and you have got to this point. Don't let me down. You've got this far, John.
That's fine. Thanks very much, Chris.
All right. You take care, my love.
You.
See you later.
You too.
That's John. I don't know what to say to that. 116123. If you're listening to what John just said and what he's going through, Elif is on the phone to him now. She's going to take his number. We're going to keep in touch with him. Hopefully speak to him either tomorrow or the next day, maybe Friday, and we'll give him a bit of time just to get it together. and hopefully we'll get an update as to how he's getting on. If that's rung a bell with you, if that is, I don't know, maybe it's the 100,000 number. You know, that's a thing, isn't it? 100,000, once you reach a sort of threshold in these things, maybe it can all come together at once and flooding in. I don't know.